It's your boy Zay-P, Zay-P that I am. I am that I am, as you are that you are, for we are all that we are. From the individual to the many, from the many comes the all, and the all is one. And so, your boy's back at it, back with a brand new video. I'm really diving in today, basically, because I've been feeling a lot of stuff going on in the collective energies, and so Spirit has been sitting with me this past week, helping me to deal with some of my own personal issues, things that I've been working on resolving this past week. Collectively speaking, there's so many of us right now that's out there that's really just under duress, under stress, feeling this weight of the world on our shoulders. We're not alone, and we have to recognize that we are not alone, that we are actually, in fact, part of a community. We're part of a communion. The overall idea being that we are ultimately all one. So many of us are feeling these same experiences. What I've been experiencing is that as the collective has been really going through a lot of transitions, there's a lot of ebb and flow that's happening right now. A lot of us feel like we should be on kind of the downward slope after the last year and a half. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff has been happening over the last year and a half, 2 years. And what Spirit has been giving me recently is that things are actually going to be picking up for us individually in our own personal experiences. See, everything that we've gone through this past year tends to leave collateral damage. It tends to have had its effects. With everything that we've been through, there's a lot to unfold in the aftermath, because so many people have been doing shadow works, because so many people have been really just kind of digging in and dealing with their stuff. A lot of stuff has risen to be surfaced, to be dealt with. So for a lot of us personally, we're going to be feeling like the weight of the world is on our shoulders, you know? And so a lot of people are going to be experiencing the backlash of everything we just came through. We've been through kind of a shitstorm collectively. Right now, we're in a phase where individually, so many of us is experiencing a lot of heaviness, right? And the messages that I have been giving of love and support from the other side are coming through, not just from me, but for me to share with you all. The ultimate point of this particular message is really the idea of letting go and letting God. We talk about this a lot. We hear about this a lot. And it really is one of those things that's easier said than done, right? We always talk about, oh, just let go, let God, and that sounds so easy. Even when we look at Eastern principles, they talk about detachment and unattachment, but that can be very hard, especially if you live in a modern lifestyle. We're attached to things. We're attached to people. We get comfortable. We get set in our moods and ways. And where we're at now, with all of the pressure that's on us, coming through the aftermath of the storm, it really leaves us open to change. Change is super uncomfortable as it is. While we might feel alone in our personal individual struggles, we are not alone, because we are all experiencing such difficulties. If you're tuning into this message now at any point, the reason why this is a current energy report is in the sense that wherever you're at and you're tuning into this message, it is for that reason. It's appropriate for where you stand now. And so if you are having these kind of difficulties in your individual life, the message that's really coming through right now from the divine is letting go and letting God. And it's really sitting in this place of allowance and trust in life. I think especially here in the West, we really get this huge hook and what we're experiencing, and this huge idea that it's up to us to create it how we want it to be. It's up to us to make what we want to see in this world, right? However, when we're going through these tough times, sometimes the best action is really to just show up and be our best selves, and then trust that God's got the rest. Trust that the divine has the rest. If you're showing up day to day, if you can let go of control, let go of the need to control how it looks, let go of even your own personal desires, your own personal attachments to what you want to happen. Because the reason why we're struggling is because we see the worst case scenarios, or we see things happening that we don't want, and we want to fight against that. We want to resist all of that. And that's natural. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's adding just more pressure, more resistance, more stress and burden. And that's what's making things almost unbearable. It can seem like something is going to break. And more times than not, it feels like it's us that is going to break, right? Even though we are much more resilient and stronger than we may know, more than we even give ourselves acknowledgments. If you look back over the course of your life, living a life, any prolonged period of time, you have gone through situations and difficulties that at one point or another, you would believe you were not capable of until you got through them. And this is no different. The only thing here is that we're really encouraged to allow ourselves to trust in the divine and really let the divine show up for us. Things will not play out in the way that we want. Things may play out in ways that's painful, in ways that's difficult, in ways that we can only see the worst case scenario of right here in this present moment. And that's okay. Life is not always perfect, and the fact of the matter is the pendulum always swings. What is bad will once again become good. What is good will once again become bad. But these tough times are transient if we can hold on. And so Spirit has really been coming through to let me know that we are supported by the divine, but we have to allow ourselves to trust. We have to allow ourselves to fall back into God's loving embrace. And we do that simply by showing up. Trusting in the divine, there's an aspect of that which is trusting in yourself. What I'm talking about is that if you trust yourself, your intentions are good. If your intentions are towards your own highest good, if your intentions are towards creating something positive in your life or the lives around others, well then, as long as you're sticking true to your intentions, just showing up day to day, giving your best effort is enough. Sometimes that's all we can do. That's all we can muster. And we may not even be able to predict or see if it's possible. Like, I don't know if I can show up tomorrow. I honestly don't know. All I know is that I'm here right now. And so in that moment, I got to rely on the divine. The divine that's within, and that greater harmony that is the collective. Everything will fall into place if we allow it. If we stop trying to wrestle control of everything and needing things to turn out the way we want them to, then things will turn out in a way that's best for all involved. Simply showing up in our best selves, giving our best effort moment to moment and letting it be is sometimes the best thing and the only thing we can really do when we are at a place where control and the big picture and common sense is just stripped out of our hands. Like right now, individually, we're all going to be feeling need for our intention. Things in our lives are calling to us saying, hey, we need you here. The pressure's on. You got to show up and you got to figure this all out, however that might look. But you don't have to mistake it to think that you're alone going through this. This is the actual collective effort. We're all doing our own parts to kind of help uplift, to kind of get us through collectively, but it's all happening in our own individual place. What that means is that we're showing up in our own lives for ourselves, for our families, for our personal responsibilities. And although that might seem selfish in a sense, sometimes that's what's required in the most selfless of ways. When we can just show up moment to moment, day to day, and not need to control the outcome, but just continue to kind of give the best of ourselves, everything will fall into place. But it's just trusting that divine, trusting that things will work out, and the allowance of it. And so this message really has been coming through of when you feel that you might break, when you don't know how you're going to get through to the next moment, how you're going to make it past whatever this particular turmoil is, when you feel like you want to give up, but give up control. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up your life, right? Give up the need to control it all. If you can give that up and allow God, allow the divine to take that off your hands, the world becomes so much more manageable. Because then all you have to do is focus on showing up in the here and now moment the best you can and allowing everything else to fall into place.